Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi guys, how are you doing today? Today we are solving the second problem in our playlist. I really want you to check the previous problem because this one is actually depending on the previous problem that we already solved. By the end of this video, you'll be able to type numbers from 10 to 1 in like backwards, from 10 to 1, not like the previous problem where we printed the numbers from 1 to 10. So it's very easy problem. You can solve it using for loop, of course. So this is what we did before. And if you solve the previous one, as I told you, you will be able to think of this one and try to do some adjustments. So the outcome should be like this. So we can have two solutions, and I want you to like think how you can do it, like horizontally, like this one, you have to print like 10 space 9 space 8. So there's like a little space between every number here. So this is like the first result I want you to achieve. And the second solution will be like this. So I want you to print the numbers in like a vertical way. And we don't need the spaces here. So you just print it and you'll be fine. Okay, I'll give you like a minute. You can take your time to think of this one and try to solve it on your own using the IDE. And it's very easy. And in a minute, I'll be explaining it to you. Okay, here's a solution here. So obviously, I just told you that you need to use for loop as we did in the previous problem. And here we have to initialize I by give it like 10, starting from 10, because this is the first, value that we want to be starting from. Because if you get back to the question again, it says print numbers from 10. So the first value will be 10 in this case. And the condition now, we have to change it to that I, it has to be larger or equals to 1. So if we, reach two numbers under 1, in this case, this condition would not be valid anymore. So we will be exiting the for loop. And the update here will be I minus minus. So in this case, every single time starting from 10 and checking the condition here that it's larger or equals to 1, which is true. So in this time, we have to, after printing it, to just update the value of I by, decreasing the value by 1. So I minus minus, it means like decreasing the value of I by just 1 every single time. So 10 first time around, then getting back, by updating the value and declining it by 1. So now it's 9, and checking the condition, it's valid. So printing it again and getting back to decline it. So now it's 8, and checking out the value and it's valid. So it keeps on and on until we reach to 1. So is 1, in this case I, larger or equals 1? That's true. Then we will be printing the last value, which is 1. And now if we decline 1, it will be 0. So in this case, the condition now, it's not valid, so it will be out of this for loop. Okay, let's see this in the IDE and try to code it together. Okay, so here is the code. I just wanna start like to say to you guys that you have to get back to the previous videos in case you want to know why we included this library and why we did use this, and about the main function here. So here is the code here. So we need to just get back to it again. So the started or the initialized value would be 10. The condition here, it has to be larger or equals to 1. After that, it will be out of this for loop. And the update here would be declining I every single time just by 1. And the block of code here is that I want to print I, and let's say we just want to print it like this and see for ourselves what's the outcome. Okay, as you can see here now, it's correct, but the numbers is just, it's like it's near each other, so there's no space between them. And as I told you, I want the result like I showed you in the previous slide. So we have to have like space. So this is so easy. We can add, so cout I and smaller, and then I can add like empty string, I just add space in it in this case. So let's see now what's gonna change. Okay, here you see. So now 10, there's space, 9, space, and that's going on for every single letter, for every single number. Okay, so this is the first solution. But what about the second solution here? So I told you I want, to print it using for loop, but in a vertical manner like this. It's so easy though. So let's get back to our code and just make a little adjustment. So I want every line to be like every letter would be in a different line. So end line here. So this is the end line. So after each number, it printed, so I have to add end line. So the second I now will be printing in a different line. Let's see. Okay, so we actually succeed at doing that. So as you can see now, we did print numbers from, initialized value, whatever that value was, to, like the last digit or the last number that we want to print to. So we can actually change that. Like you can do a little, changes to this for loop. So if I wanted to start from, let's say like 19 to 3, let's see how things now will be different. So, okay, I did not close that, to be honest, so I have to do it again. Okay, so you can see now the first value here would be 19, 18, 17 until 3. See? So you can actually do any kind of adjustment to this and see for yourself. Okay, a little bonus here. So if we wanted to print it from 3 to 19, like the initialized value would be 3 and the last value would be 19. So I have to change the condition here. So I would be less, not larger, or equals 19. And every single time I want to add 1. So it's not minus 1. So it's adding 1 to the I and printing the numbers. Let's see now. It's actually the opposite. If you can see, so 3, 4, 5, 6 up until 19. And if I wanted to do that horizontally without, using the end line, you can see now if I add just a little space here to make, space between every number. So you can see now 3, 4, 5 up until 19. Okay, so you have to practice doing those little things. It's really important because you can solve, bigger problem, along the road if you did those things perfectly and you actually feel very comfortable using it. Okay, I hope that you learned something today, and the next video we will be having another problem And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe in my channel, and see you in the next video.